Good evening to you. Today we will look at some important topics that will be helpful to you. One, when do you know that what you are having in the throat is really COVID and it is getting bad? Because many people deceive themselves thinking it is not COVID and fear of going and showing themselves up. So today, please take note of these 5 critical signs. Secondly, I want to address the issue of the trouble that children go through with so many online studies, how to do it well. So firstly, this COVID variety has 2 clinical features. That is to say, some people get bad on the 4th day, but other people, what happens is symptoms look okay. You think you have recovered from your fever or whatever problem you had, but on the 8th day, it really gets bad. So let me explain to you the 2 stages of the disease which you have come to know as COVID. You know that the SARS-CoV-2 virus attaches itself to the ACE2 receptor. Our body is full of different receptors. That's how the body is designed to act. And the SARS-2 spike protein attaches to the ACE2 receptor. It also attaches to another receptor called nicotinic acetyl acid receptor. So this is the spike protein. So when the spike protein attaches, it begins a reaction in the lung. It first gets into the throat and it begins to multiply, and when it gets into the lung, now imagine this is the lung and this is the alveolus where the air comes in, and this is the alveolar capillary membrane, and this is the blood vessels in the lung. So what happens is when the air comes in with oxygen must get through this membrane called the alveolar capillary membrane into the bloodstream. These are the capillaries of the lung. Now, in the COVID process, when the COVID spike protein is attacked by our own antibodies, there's an antibody-antigen reaction. It's an immunological reaction, and this membrane gets thicker and thicker. What happens then is oxygen comes in, but can't go through this into the bloodstream, and the carbon dioxide in the bloodstream cannot come out. That's the basic problem why people get breathless, and we call it hypoxia. They don't have enough oxygen in their system. So then the next thing you need to understand is, in our immune reaction, there's when a microbe, antibody, and when an antigen, foreign organism comes in, there's an immune inflammatory reaction. That is, it keeps acting. The body's immune system is acting against the invading agent, inflammatory action. Then there is a resolving action. Both these need interleukins. Now, when the action has inflammatory action, which is for our protection, has come to a certain stage, it must go down with resolution. For that, the body has particular molecules called certain kinds of interleukins, which are called specific pro-resolver molecules, SPM. These SPM molecules that quieten things up are dependent on vitamin D. That is why if you have a vitamin D deficiency, that you get COVID badly. So you need to take care of that. So advice is take 60,000 vitamin D, large dose at once, and daily take 4,000 vitamin D daily. That is important. And also you can take zinc. Zinc has particular antiviral qualities, and you must take vitamin C 1000 daily. So that is, then there are some other medicines that you can take early, but you can't take it on your own. You must consult a doctor. So when must you consult a doctor? Generally speaking, these days don't assume a fever is something else, and don't keep avoiding the subject. I have find many people staying at home fearful to go and report themselves, thinking it's something else, excusing themselves. So firstly, you may get a fever. Now, if the fever goes down, don't ignore it, because I told you 8th day, 7th day evening, 7th meaning from what time? From the time you got some first symptom. Then the 7th day, it suddenly gets bad, or on the 8th day, it suddenly gets bad. Watch for it, because some people are okay for the first 6 days and they go and do something else. So if fever was not there and fever spikes up someday, that means from the initial stage of the body trying to control the infection, it has got into the lung, and in the lung the infection is getting bad, the inflammation is getting bad. What happens then is, if you don't control it early, the antibody reaction that is going on, our body makes antibodies, and those antibodies will at different points go and attack different organs in the body. That is called a cytokine storm. Initially, those cytokines, I told you things called interleukins, act on our behalf, but it can overshoot if these pro-resolver molecules that bring down the summit are not acting properly. So that is the problem where these symptoms change. Secondly, if you get a sudden headache, you must report yourself. You must show yourself to a medical doctor. Don't keep hiding things. Thirdly, if you get every day what you must do is this. Now, the issue is that you have been exposed to a contact. He is positive and you're worried and you haven't gone anywhere. Now, you should have gone. You haven't gone anywhere. Or you're under quarantine and you're not coming out with your symptoms. I have met many people, by the time they came to me, they have been hiding their symptoms out of fear. So the first thing, if the fever suddenly comes up or a low-grade fever got suddenly worse, you must consult. Then the second thing is, if you get a sudden headache, because in the lung, after that pulmonary reaction I mentioned, lung reaction I mentioned, clotting begins to happen, because our antibodies that act against the virus spike protein also can act against our clotting mechanism and our platelets. So you have to remember that. So if a headache comes, that means a thrombotic phenomenon, a thrombosis may be coming up there. Thirdly, now this is not to scare you, this is to encourage you to go and get medical attention on time without dilly-dallying. Thirdly, every day you must do a breathing exercise. Now, what do I mean by every day? Now, you know you were exposed or you could have been exposed. Breathing exercise is, you breathe deep inhalation, you deep in breathe and count to 10 slowly, gradually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, morning and evening you must do this. Even if you do it 3 times a day, it's okay. At any time you find that you can't count to 10. Morning you are able, evening you can't count. That means you are getting short of breath, which means in your lung that system thing has got getting obstructed, oxygen is not going in, carbon dioxide is not coming out. So that's the breathing issue. Or else, on the same line, if your cough gets, initially the cough is superficial, throat irritation, cough is superficial. Increasingly you find, you are doing that rather than coughing, then you must report yourself to a medical doctor. Then fourthly, if you get a diarrhea, you must report yourself to a medical doctor, because in this variety, diarrhea can come up suddenly. Then you know that reaction is going into other parts of your body. Fifthly, what you should keep account is, if your WBC, leukocytes, that is white blood cells, are going down, or your platelets are going down in a count when you take a blood report, or there's a thing called the C-reactive protein is going up, you know that immune reaction is getting bad, and you must get to a doctor on time without dilly-dallying anymore. These are the 5 critical signs that you need to watch and take medical advice quickly. Now, there are other drugs that can be given to control the disease early, so that you don't get a bad lung reaction, that the lung condition does not get any worse, and to prevent the it going into thrombosis. One such thing is the simple low-dose aspirin that diabetic patients take. Now you can't give yourself medicine. You must ask your doctor. So there are other measures also possible, approved by the health ministry. You must get your doctor to ask and say, is there any early treatment possible that this will not develop any further. There's another thing, if you are a diabetic person who has diabetes or hypertension or any other what is known as comorbidity, then you can't dilly-dally. As soon as you feel body aches or fever, so don't ignore body aches, and often body aches are the first sign that there's an immunological reaction, bad reaction happening. So if you have such parallel diseases, you must take attention early. Now I want to get into the next subject I wanted to discuss with you, which now if you want to clarify what I said or get some of my other clips, this is my 190th clip done on different subjects. If you want to get some of my other clips, you can send a WhatsApp message to 076 313 4800. 076 313 4800. I'm Dr. Lalith Mendis. My last post was as head of Department of State Medical Faculty. So this is why, because people are very worried what to do at this time, I thought this might be a little reprieve for you, that there is a methodology and that you understand the disease, how, at what point it gets dangerous. So regarding children, I need to speak because it's very difficult for 12 to 14-year-olds at this time without school how to contain it. So here are some hints. Children need motivation at this time. And now when children are down, motivation is necessary. Dad has to get involved. That's the first thing. Mom makes it daily stay safe. But dad has to give the next stretch, next step. So dad, every day you must keep at least 15 minutes, preferably before sun goes down, to do something with your son and daughter. Of course, even in the night you can do, but catch some time at 5:30, 5:45. Many of you are not going to, we are working from home. So catch some time with sundown, because catching sundown is important. That sets the child's brain right for the night season. Now that is true for you also. Melatonin begins to secrete by 6 p.m. and when you watch the sunset, watch the sundown, do something outside house in the garden. At least if you're in an apartment, at least watch it for 15-20 minutes through a window. Then that sets your melatonin tone right, because melatonin works for memory, brain health, retinal health. There are cells called chromaffin cells, and when melatonin is secreted by a little body called the pineal body. I believe this is a designer's great gift to mankind. So work with your melatonin or agree with your melatonin, then it sets you well for the night season. Immediately I had to give you the 5 laws for pixel screen, digital screen for children. After 6 p.m. you have to reduce the use of the pixel screen. So since there are a lot of online classes, if there's any chance that you can do your child's online classes on a non-pixel screen, that is not a touch screen, old laptop, old desktop, that is the better thing. Lesser the PPI, lesser the brain effect. Otherwise children get jittery, inattention, hyperactive, and they get what we call impulsive. They can't wait in one place, and they get very hostile, pugilistic. They get into flight mode. Secondly, when online studies are on, we should study with our prefrontal cortex. When online studies are on, what happens is our online studies are on. Normal study method is initiation, navigation, successful conclusion, well done. That's a normal study process. But when you're online, children go bottom up. That is to say, anything that comes their way, it stimulates them. So that is not good. Now I have recommended to schools to have school sessions only for 30 minutes and to give a little break. But some schools have long study sessions. Then in between, kids also do different things online on the screen. So parents should be able to supervise this as much as possible. At least some grandparents should be around for this purpose. So the idea is online studies are absolutely necessary now, but remove the effect of it as much as possible. Then third thing is, you must get them to wake up in the morning with sunrise. Then the morning chronobiology gets into rhythm, the growth hormone, insulin and so on. Please don't let them sleep before 6, which means they must sleep in time in the night. At least by 9 o'clock, 9:30, they must be sleeping in the night. So that mornings, when sun is coming up, when you get up with sunrise, the chronobiology gets sets in. Otherwise, at about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, when they get up with a jerk. And that is not good for the cortisol system. They are always on the grouchy mood, So then, after breakfast at 8 o'clock, you must get your son and daughter to write their timetable for the day. Now, they may know the timetable. Otherwise, I find parents scrambling. They're at work, kids are here, they have to send WhatsApp, they have to get telephone calls, do this, do that, and it's always the child scrambles on the table at the last moment with the laptop and the charger, and that's no good for studies. So you must discipline them. At 8 o'clock you must say, darling, write down your own timetable. Now writing down is so important because it's God's good gift that we can write. Language is a wonderful gift of God, and writing is what makes brain brilliant. So even for the older ones, I want to give you an advice. Even if you are retired, in your golden sunset, you must write down 4 A4 pages every day in 2 languages. You understand? So write something, some thoughts or whatever days there. So you also do that, but now I am on children. So at 8 o'clock, they write down their timetable, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, even food time. Let them write down their timetable at least till 6 p.m. They may know it, but writing down timetable, they own up and they begin the empathic executive methodology where the prefrontal cortex is doing the work it should do, which is called top-down regulation. Then include in that timetable some fun time, activity time, and gardening, a pet, what to do outside and so on. I have done a clip about how to make a gym in the house. You can make a gym in the house. I have done a clip. Please refer to my 187th clip. Yeah, it's on my FB timeline also. I am Lalith Mendis is my FB timeline. I have another official page called DR.Lalith Mendis. So please, you can refer for my other clips. Or if you send a WhatsApp number to my WhatsApp number that I have given, then I can send you the other clip. So now your child is going through the day. Every meal time must be honored and do proper meal times. Less junk food, the better it is. And at meal time, no screen. I told you 5 golden rules. Meal time, no screen. Third golden rule is reduce the LED light in your house in general, particularly where the boys or girls studies. Let there be no LED light. Then night time must be properly there, and don't delay the night time with TV and whatnot. 4K and 8K TVs, terrible for sleep. Same for you, same for your children. Quite a lot of advice on this matter. So I want to give you some books that I have written. They're available from Sarasavi Bookshop, as well as Vijayaba Bookshop, and also from Brookside Bookshop. This is my latest. It's a very useful book for brain training of yourself and your children. Especially dad, you have to be the motivator. When the child is passing 12, it's the dad that the child needs. It was always so, but because of online trouble, it is more so. So I plead with you, dad, however much your burden, I know you have your own worries, you have to give some time for Coaching meaning, just play some cricket with them. A lot of activities like that that are good. And some of you may be listening to me for the first time. So gardening, going out barefooted on the grass, running around, all those little frictions that come on the sole of the foot. We know that there's friction coming on the SOUL, sole, these days a lot. But I'm referring to sole of the foot. Any little friction is good for the brain. So I normally suggest this. You put a lanupadura, a choir carpet lanupadura, where your kid is playing or you are taking exercise. Hang a cricket ball. That all time talk, talk, talk is very good for brain. Barefooted and moving on that lanupadura, carpet-like thing. Similarly, board games, mechanoset or erector, one of those things where you work with screw spanners and screwdrivers. See this? This is clockwise. Then this is anti-clockwise. That's how brain gets brilliant. So when you are writing, handwriting also, see when you write ra like that, that is clockwise. When you like ta like that, that is anti-clockwise. So flowing hand, keeping flowing hand going as long as you can is also very good for brain. These are some things, to keep your brain neuroplastic. Then take aim games, take aim games like carom. That is also very good. So this is my book called Let's Be Screen Smart. Please take a copy. These children come to me. Here is an excellent book, Parenting, Heart and Brain in an Age of Digital Domination. So a lot of home advice, and these are designed for parents to sit and read with children for 10 minutes, So don't fight with them, because they are now wanting to be on the screen all the time. So don't fight with them, read with them. Children are heritage and future. And if you are a technical person, a doctor or a teacher, there is a must book, Winning the Digital War for Millennials and Us All. So I wanted to fill up your time, and here's one more, Right Learning and Recovery of Childhood. The foreword for this is written by Warren of St. Thomas's College, which is my school. We think it's a great school. And also by the former Dean of the Medical Faculty, a personal friend of mine, Right Learning and Recovery of Childhood. So this is some of the things that you can help with your children's timetable round the clock. But now to sum up, the first subject I took was the dangerous signs that your COVID is getting dangerous. If the fever that was down suddenly spikes up, if your cough is getting deeper and breathlessness is coming in, particularly if you find climbing a flightway upstairs at home, which you normally could do easily, like that, then the headache sign, then the diarrhea sign, and then if you have any of those WBC, DC, then the platelets or coming down, or the C-reactive protein going up, you must not ignore those. So there's early treatment available. Ask your doctor, and if you send me a WhatsApp, I will send the health ministry schedule about how treatment should be done. You can show it to the doctor as well. So thank you for joining with us. I have broadcast on Life Coach, Dr. Jahan De Silva's YouTube stream. He will be coming on soon with the subjects that he is qualified to speak on. Thank you for listening. I hope this is a useful talk for you.